back everyone, and it is now part 4 of my making heart things for Valentine's Day video. Now, first thing I must say, please excuse the state of my hands. I know they look dreadful, but I was having a clear up earlier and I had a bit of a fight with a bottle of alcohol ink. And in trying to get it from under my nails, which have all got chipped, it's just left my hands looking a bit yucky. Anyway, I hope you don't mind. You'll know what it's like being a crafter. So we've got all the hearts that we made over the last couple of days, all spread out in front of me. I've put a couple to one side for embedding into a coaster, which I'll do later. So for the rest of this, I'm going to have a go at the fairly obvious key rings. We've got ear hooks, we've got bails, we've got things to turn them into picture frames, well, picture holders, place holders, place for your dinner tables, you know, at weddings, how they put your table numbers, that sort of thing. We got those. I've also got some very, very, very fine chiffon ribbon, which is lovely. I bought this for something at Christmas and never used it. So we've got that. I've also got a little ring. It splits so it can fit any size. I've got a hairpin blank. I have got a little dingle dangle thing, so we can turn one into a dangle to go on your phone case or whatever you fancy. And I've also got a little diddy hair comb, so we can make one to stick in your hair. So bit of a variety, I hope. I've got my drill at the ready, my cute little pink cordless drill, sorted of sizes of drill bits, and away we go. So let's see what we come up with. First of all, let's do the obvious ones. Let's put one of these onto a keyring, and I'm thinking, I don't know, let's go for this one. This one had a kind of weird effect came through. I was trying for the marshmallow effect. It didn't really work, but it's created this weird, very subtle, almost like a, I don't know, like a snake skin almost. So let's do that one first. So we're being very careful with the little drill, of course. Don't want to drill a hole in my fingers. But let's just go straight through the top. Actually, let's push all the others out of the way because I'm going to make a pile of dust, aren't I, as I'm drilling. There we are. So here we go. And I tend to wiggle it back and forth a little bit, just to clean the hole. You can get, excuse me leaning across here, you can get a little micro brush and just give a little poke through the hole as well if you want. That will just make that clean. And for this one, I'm just going to pop it on one of these little triangular bails that I've got. They're just like a triangular jump ring really, nothing fancy about these. If you can see, that's just a really simple shape. So we're just going to open this up with the pliers a little bit. I'll put the link for all the tools in the comments below, in the description. So if you need to get any of these things, you can see which ones it is that I'm actually using. I wouldn't worry too much about the findings, to be honest. Just get them from wherever takes your fancy. They're so readily available, it's crazy. Oh, just trying to get this lined up so that I can pinch it. There we go. So a little bit of a twist on the normal jump ring. We've got a little triangular one. Got keyring bails. Keyrings, bits, things. Now the only trouble with these is I've done that in a gold one because that's what I happen to have to hand, and this in silver. So we're going to have two different colour metals. Don't think it matters. It's a keyring at the end of the day. Normally I do try to match them up, but remember when you're opening a jump ring, do that. Can you see there? We've twisted rather than pulled it open. So you'll see that in my other videos. Twist to close it back up as well. Like, oops, like so. Then that doesn't get misshapen. So there's your keyring. So there's the obvious first thing we're going to do with these. Now, let's try, what should we do next? Let's pop one onto our little earring pin here, hairpin. Dearie me, it's going to be a long day, isn't it? Onto me, onto the little hair grip. Now what we're going to do this with, nice and simple, let's use some ultraviolet curing resin. I've got my lamp at the ready, so here we go. Isn't it? See, this was another attempt at that pillow effect, but there's a random little bit of glitter got in there as well. It's just cute. So let's just pop that onto here. So I'm going to turn him over like so. Pop a little dot of the UV resin in the middle. Pop that on. Now of course what's going to happen here is the UV resin that is underneath the little clip is not going to cure very well because the light isn't getting under it. So I'm going to cure it from this side. This is the trick, she says, hoping that the light will come on. Bear with me one moment. There we go, just zoomed you in a little bit more as well. Yeah. So we're going to shine the ultraviolet light on it, just moving it a bit closer. It's a very powerful one, this, so that distance should be fine. So what's happening now is that the resin around it is curing, but of course the resin that's underneath it isn't. So once that's been given a bit of a cure, what we're going to do next, other than making sure you're still lined up, what we're going to do next is put a little bit of the resin over it as well. So we're going over the back, kind of making a proper fix it down. There we go. So there's a little bit all the way through the clip of the hairpin. Can you see that? It's now got a proper puddle of the ultraviolet curing resin around it. So let's have some light on it again. And that should be stuck really, really well. The resin that's underneath it, I will be turning it over and giving it a blast from the back as well. So that's that. Nice and simple. We've got ourselves a hair clip. There we are. Isn't that cute? So all these little bits and pieces, findings as they're called, readily available at your local craft shops or Amazon or whatever. Nice and easy. So that's those two. Right, we now have a little hair comb. So what to put on that is the question. And I think I don't want anything too big, actually. I'm just wondering whether to put this little heart on it. Like so, maybe that. And again, we're going to be using the ultraviolet resin. I wonder, or should we go for something a bit bigger? No, let's go for that one. Let's go for that little guy. Now you want your hair to be able to go behind it to a degree. So I'm just going to glue it across here, just across the very top. And I would say that is the outside of the clip. So here we go again. A little bit of ultraviolet resin. And we're going to pop that down onto the little heart. And that's coming up through the little holes in the clip, which is good. Or helping to fix it in place while we get the ultraviolet light on it. Just moving my light along a bit. There we go. I want it to get over my hand. This is one of those things that probably would have been better with a torch, or one of those things that just sit over it. Okay, so that will have firmed up a little bit. So same again, just going to go over the top. With a bit more of the resin and bring it down the sides and around the end, trying to make it look a little bit neat at the same time, and can also dome in the back of the little heart at the top here, which, you know, just makes a nice finish, doesn't it? So as you can see, what I've done is I've domed that in with the little comb pretty much incorporated into that domed layer of resin, which will make for one very, very strong bond. It is not going to come off. There we are. Let's leave that to cure. So while we've got the ultraviolet resin on the go, I'm going to suggest that maybe we do the little ring next, because it's the same process again. Just trying to give you some ideas really here. So there we go. We have a hair clip. There it is. Lovely. I'm going to turn the ultraviolet off again for a moment. There we are. Okay, so yes, let's get this. Sorry, I had to just go and answer the door. Right, let's get this little ring done. This is going to be a very simple process again. As you can see, I don't bother with gloves when I'm using UV resin. Probably I should recommend that you do, because you never know what you're going to have a reaction to. But the other thing is, you can kind of burn your fingers, especially when you're doing something small like this. So I'm going to get my fingers out of the way of the actual resin. I think I've got that pretty centralised. And again, we're just going to get enough UV on it to get it to hold in place. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure you're still in shot. There we are. Okay, so that should be holding now. Same again, going to put a bit over the back so that it effectively seals the little piece into the ring. It is not going to come off. And I'm pretty sure I've just got some of this resin on my fingers, which will burn. As if my poor hands weren't in enough of a state after the fight with that bottle of alcohol ink. I'm just going to get this light in here again, and while that's doing its thing, here we go, let's use the light to prop it up. There we are. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to get some wipes out. Using my Wonder Wipes as usual. They seem to work for pretty much anything that I'm working with. So there we are. There you go. So we have a ring. I'm going to leave all these on the windowsill in the light where they can get more ultraviolet on them. Got a bit of overspill there. And there we are. We have a little ring. Now I'm going to pull you back out again a bit, because that level of zoom I think is being a bit problematic. So let me just make sure you're still in shot. Yeah, there we go. And there's our little ring. So we're going well here. Seem to have quite a few little bits and pieces we've made with these hearts. I'll put them all into a photo at the end as well. Now the next thing will be let's do what should we do? Let's do a pair of earrings. Now I am going to put these onto gold ear hooks, and the reason for that is I tend to wear gold rather than silver. It just suits me better, I think. I don't know why. Actually I do. I had my colours done once, if you know what that means. Apparently I'm a dark autumn, a vibrant dark autumn, and I'm yellow based, so gold suits me better than silver. So I do know why. That was a bit of a fib. Now what we're going to need here to put these, I'm going to put these little cuties onto these ear hooks. So what I'm going to need is a bail of some sort, and I think I'm going to try these. Now these might be too small to go right round these little resin pieces. It would help if I could get it. You know what, I'm not used to not having nails. I used to have the most beautiful claws, but I keep wrecking my nails lately. Now these, we'll see if they'll go. They're pretty little bails. You can see that. Can you see that? They're just little tiny leaves. They're rather lovely. So let's try. The first thing we need to do is make a hole in these. You know what? I don't think that's going to go all the way around there. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So in with a little drill again. So the obvious alternative would be to go in through the top, downwards, and put one of those little screw pins or that sort of thing on the top. So the big one's quite deep. Let's see. Might have to put a bigger bail on this one. Right, let's clear up the mess. I have got some bigger bails. They just get quite chunky, and I don't necessarily want chunky on such quite little girly, cutesy jewellery. So I don't know. Let's have a play and see what happens. Right. So we've got our little hole. I am going to clean it up. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't, but I'm going to clean it up with a little micro brush. Just get any residue out. Yeah, they're probably okay without doing that, but never mind. Let's try these little tiny bails. They do look as if they open. You know what? That's going to work. They seem to be quite, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that this looks quite wide at the base? So this is looking quite promising. Yes. Oh, and isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm pleased with that. If I can remember where I got these from, I'll put you the link, because these are going across much more of a width of resin and still working. I'm quite impressed with that. Because usually you end up with really big chunky bails, or having to use wire, or you know, one of the multitude of other ways you can fix them. Whereas these little pinch bails, I think that looks gorgeous. All we're going to need then is the earrings. I'm going to put straight onto here, and that the pendant, I'm just going to put a jump ring on it and then straight onto my chain. I've got a 9-carat gold chain that I tend to pop things onto. So remember, we're twisting, not pulling these open, we're twisting, and there we go. One cutesy little earring. So again, we are twisting, We are popping it on, making sure we got it the right way around, and we're twisting it back. And that is going nowhere. Yeah, pleased with those. Those are really cute. And that, as I said, will go onto my little gold chain. So we now have earrings. And a pendant. Let's put those out of the way. I'll put this. I really want that as a pendant as well. I love that. So this is another one that's going to be for me. And so now we know that those little bails will go through it. Let's do the same again. And then when we've done this, I think we'll move on to the picture or place marker, table setting place marker, that sort of thing. We'll do that. And then basically I'm going to work my way through all of these and do things with them all. Just more of the same. So yeah, I'll fast forward you through them, or I might even just go straight to the end result. That might be better, mightn't it? So there we go. Again, I'm popping that on a jump ring, and then it'll go straight onto my chain. Actually, let's put the jump rings on those now, if I can find them quite quickly. Jump rings, jump rings, jump rings, gold jump rings. Here we are. I know a lot of you will have seen my beginner's jewellery thread. I'm gradually building up some videos in that for you, but this is in part 1, how to open your jump ring. So remember, what we do is you just twist, then you don't distort your jump ring. There we go, and that is ready to go onto my necklace. Let's do the other one while we're at it. Oh, this is fun. There we go. Openy, openy. There we go. Twist, and we're on. There. Now, the rest of them, those are going to go onto earrings. This is going to be a pendant as well, I think. The smaller ones generally will be pendants. Let's have a go at some key rings later. I think we've got plenty of these. These simple ones I think will be key rings largely. Next one I want to do though, and I probably will use one of the flower ones, is the little picture stand or place stand, whatever you want to call it. Now, what I'm going to do is put a hole in this. It needs to be pretty much in the centre of that flower. You want it fairly centred to the centre of the piece, and you don't need to go necessarily all the way through, although I often do by accident. I'm giving it a bit of a wiggle because I'm not quite sure if that hole's big enough. Let's clean it out and we'll give it a try. So these are the little clips you can get, pretty straightforward. You can get ones that are just like a single piece of wire and come up in a little loop as well. So whichever you prefer. But yes, that's going in there just fine. So let me clean up. We're going to get the ultraviolet resin on the go again, because I just want to put a little spot in the hole to give it some strength. And then I'll show you finally the cute thing that I'm going to do with the rest of these, quite a lot of these hearts. Yeah, I will carry on putting some onto jewellery, some onto key rings and so on, but I just wanted to show you the little template I've made for making pocket hugs. So we'll be doing that next. So there we go. I'm going to pop a little dot of UV resin on the bottom of the spike. You can cut these if you want them a bit shorter, by the way. You can cut them down. And I'm going to insert that into the little hole I've made, which means you do get a little bubble of the resin around the hole. So just tidy that up. You could, if you wanted, get a wipe and wipe the surplus off. There you go, that looks neat, doesn't it? And we're going to get the ultraviolet light on it again. Here we come. Now, because this has got that layer of clear that I put in first, there is a nice clear layer for the ultraviolet light to get through the resin. So that's pretty nifty, isn't it? And then you can use that for popping your little photos or whatever in. Oh, actually, I know another one I'll do before we move on to just do the pocket hearts, because those are so easy to do. Let's put some on a ribbon. Here we go, that's that done. All ready to have your photo with your little place marker stuck in it, and that is not coming out in a hurry. That's nice and solid. Yeah, just had a thought. I'm going to change my drill to a bigger one. And the reason for that is I'm going to try and pass some ribbon through it. So what we're going to do here is just put a bit of dainty ribbon through one of these. So they'll just make those nice little things that you can hang on drawers and, you know, on kitchen cupboards and that sort of thing. Giving it a wiggle to make the hole a bit bigger because I couldn't get the bigger drill to work. Let's clean up again. Oh, making a mess. That's quite a big hole though. Hopefully will be big enough to get the ribbon to pass through it. Just trying to keep cleaning up so it doesn't look a mess on camera, because if it does you won't be able to see what I'm doing very well. Right, here's our ribbon. Very fine. Trying to find an end. Ah, there's an end. Now, this is going to be fun trying to get it through this hole. I think what I'm going to do is try and put it on through with using my micro brush. Oh yes, look, that was easy. Easy peasy peasy. So I'm going to cut a nice length of this off. And we're just going to tie that in a bow. And I think at about that length, so it can be a dangle. So first of all, I'm going to tie it in a natural knot to stop it going any further. So those of you who remember your knots, that's a reef knot. So it'll stay flat, still facing the front or the side, whichever, and it's not going to come undone. And then we're just going to tie a perfectly ordinary little bow. Now, if you wanted, you could put a stitch through that or a dot of glue to make it stay done up, a dot of your ultraviolet, you could. But basically, you've got a really cutesy little dangle. You could trim that ribbon off, you could have it shorter, you know, whatever you fancy. But there we go, one cutesy little dangle. Right, we're going to do the pocket hugs. Now this one couldn't be easier. I'll just go and get the components. Here we are then. I've got the little cards to put the pocket hugs on. I've designed this in the design studio for on Cricut. So if anybody would like this template, as you can see, it's a really simple one. 2 colour pens and the cut file, and it's compatible with Cricut Joy because that's the machine I've got. So if anybody would like this, the link will be in the description. So here we go. I've got these little cards I've made to put these hearts onto as pocket hugs. I've got some 3D sticky pads in case anybody wanted to put them on that way. You can use double-sided glue dots. I've been just using glue. However, this little file, as you can see, it's a very simple cut file. I designed in Cricut Design Studio. It's a very simple one with 3 different little sayings on it, fully editable of course. If you would like this, then I will be popping the link to it so that you can use it on your own Cricut machines, and that link will be in the community tab, so any of my subscribers would be able to get at it and use it to your heart's content. You'll be able to change the wording and do whatever you want, pop names on the top. It is only a simple one, 2 different colour pens and the cut. So it's a nice simple little thing that you can use. So I thought I might as well share that with you. Now the hearts, I'm just going to glue them on. It really is that simple. So some of these, I think the glitter ones definitely, I'll just be sticking those on. So let's have a big dab of glue on the back of them. It's Gorilla Glue that I'm using, pretty strong stuff. Press it down well, there you go. That's ready to go as your gift. What I did with the one for my niece is I put the heart a little bit lower down. I put a little message on it just saying, take this with you to keep our love with you for always, or something like that. And I put her name at the top. But yeah, if you know how to use Design Space, you could probably whip one of these up quite quickly yourself, or quite easily edit the one that I'm making available for you. There we go, easy peasy peasy. Let's see what one of the swirl ones looks like on it. That's a nice swirl one, isn't it? Let's put that. Maybe a flower one. Should we have a flower one? Yeah, let's have a friends one. And let's put, that looks nice on it, doesn't it? Because your Valentine's someone you love. It could just be a friend. But also, don't you think your best Valentine, the best romance, should also be your best friend? So there we are. I hope that's given you some ideas. Like I said, that cut file will be available for you. So help yourselves if it's of any use. Link will be in the community tab. If anybody has any more ideas of what we can do with these hearts, if you'd like to see me have a go at it, then do shout up, because they're really fun to make. And as you can see, I've got plenty left still. So yeah, if you want to chuck some ideas in the comments for me, then of course we will have a go. I'm going to settle in to have a play with some more of these, and yeah, we'll get some sort of close-ups and photos in at the end of this video. So I hope you found it useful. Good bit of fun, and with Valentine's Day coming up, well, you know, why not? So there we are. I'm just going to make a quick dangle one while I'm waffling away here. This could go onto your phone or something, couldn't it? Like a little phone charm. Yeah, let's do that with this one. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you have already subscribed, then thank you. Really do appreciate your support, and I hope you know just how much that does mean to me, particularly being somebody new to this. So thank you all, and I'll see you for the next video.